All right, the last part, part 4, we'll finish up this review. 41, write an inequality relating B and D, or BD and AD. And the process, again, I went in and labeled all the things that are given over here, because that's just, you got to go that route. That means BC and AC are congruent because they're the same length. And knowing that, that means I've got a side here and a shared side here that match the side shared side on the other side. That means the angle between them can be used to compare the opposite sides in each case. Bigger 65.88 degree points to a larger side, BD. So I have it here, BD is greater than AD. So that's the end of that one. Take a peek. 42. Sum of the interior angles. The sum of the exterior angles is always 360. That's in another problem, but I meant interior there. 30 would be using this sum of interior formula, n minus 2 times 180. That's the number of triangles that fits within that figure. So that'd be 28 times 180, or 5040. Then B is regular polygon, get each angle. There's 14 sides. Well, yeah, we get the sum of the angles, 14 minus 2 times 180, but we also divide by 14 to get each individual angle at 154.29 degrees. The exterior angle is always 360. Always, 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 regardless. So D, if a regular polygon has interior angles that are 120, we know how we get that, right? We do the sum divided by the number of angles, sum of the angles divided by number of angles to get each. Well, I'm going to go backward now, just like we did in our review in class with your teams. You start with 120 equal to this formula for each angle, and we solve for n. Multiply both sides by n, so it cancels on the left. Make sure you do it to the right. Distribute the 180, get it here. Then get the variable on one side, so we subtract 120n from both sides, and then you're able to get this thing equal to 0, which is fine, because you took 120n from 120n, add 360 to both sides, divide by 60, and you get yourself n equals 6. Now that's part of, again, this all goes up to that upper problem there. It's just the number of sides that is required to have all of them be 100. In a regular polygon, they'd all be 120 degrees if it were a six-sided figure. We just worked back from knowing the degrees. 43. This one is for solve for x and find the measure of each angle. Well, you've got expressions with x in them. They either add to something and they're equal to each other, and these all add to the sum of whatever 6 sides we have here, right? N equals 6. So they sum to 120. That means all these angles inside add to 120, or 720, I'm sorry, not 120. So I added up each of these angles. The x's added to 25x, the numbers -2, -6, -12, and 140 added to 120. And so I just went and solved that equation, 25x plus 120 equals 720. Got x equals 24, and then you have to put 24 back into each, because I want the measure of each angle. And circled, you see in there, is each angle after I put 24 in for x. We're on the home stretch here, 44. Got parallelogram ABCD. AB is 10, labeled it. BC is 15, labeled it. What you know about a parallelogram is opposite sides are congruent, so I got 10 on either on that side, 15 on the bottom. Then so that's what I filled in. CD is 10, DA is 15. Find the measures of all angles. Well, the two given angles, 12x minus 10 and 6x plus 28. Again, we're saying, oh, it's an algebraic expression. They must add to something or they're equal to each other. These add to 180. The consecutive angles of a parallelogram always add to 180. They're supplementary. So I put that here. Solved it by combining like terms first, variable by itself by subtracting 18, divide by 18, and you get you're home free with x equals 9. What's barely showing up on the screen here? X equals 9. When x equals 9, then we can put it back in, because I'm supposed to find the measure of all the angles. 9 in times 12 minus 10, 98. 9 times 6 plus 28, 122. 102, I'm sorry. Then you know that the opposite angles in a parallelogram are the same. So if I get 102 in the left corner, I have 102 in the upper right. 98, 98. And there you have it. That's the end of the review. Best of luck. Do email with questions.